Hello guys, welcome back to the channel. So in today's video, I'm going to show you how to build a ChatGPT clone using Python, Streamlit, LangChain, and OpenAI. So that's what we're going to be doing in this video. So let me just show you how the application will look like at the end when you build it. So I'm just going to run it, the demo app, and then show you how it looks. So I'm going to say Streamlit run app.py, and let me run that. And it's going to open up in the browser, and I'm going to show you the app right now. So I'm just wait for this to load. So this basically is going to be the app where you can basically like interact with the ChatGPT model. So I'm going to just go ahead and simply say hello there, and let's see what answer we get back. Okay, I made a typo there. So you can see how can I assist you today. So that's basically the chatbot. You can basically ask it any questions, and it's going to respond to you. So we're going to go ahead and use the GPT-3 model to do this. We're going to use OpenAI and talk to OpenAI APIs using LangChain, and we're going to also use OpenAI and Streamlit to build this application. So Streamlit for the UI, LangChain to help us to interact with the GPT-3 model. Okay. So this is what we're going to be doing in this video. So again, let's get started with this so we don't have to waste any more time. Again, if you're new to the channel, please kindly consider subscribing, liking this video, and sharing this content with anyone who you think might find it helpful. Okay, so let's go ahead and get started. So the first thing I'm going to go in, I'm just going ahead and stop this server for now, and I'm going to go into this other terminal, right, which I have here. I have a folder called Streamlit tutorial. So I'm going to go ahead and create a folder in there called chat GPT clone. Okay, so there's it, and I'm going to make that folder. I'm going to change directory into that folder, and once I'm inside of that folder, I'm going to go ahead and create my virtual environment. So to create a virtual environment, to do that is simple. First of all, let me just go back one directory. I'm going to create the virtual environment in the root directory. So I'm just simply going to go ahead and use the following command to create the virtual environment. So I'm going to say python3 hyphen m vnv, and I'm going to call my virtual environment vnv. Okay, and once I go ahead and press enter right there, and this is going to go ahead and create for me a virtual environment on my machine. So I can do ls, you can see I have a folder there called venv, and this is my virtual environment right here. Okay, so if you're on Windows, you have to say py and then hyphen m vnv and then vnv. Okay, so if you're on Windows, so this command is going to work for guys who are on Linux and MacBooks. Okay, so I have to now activate my virtual environment, and to activate I'm going to say source vnv/bin/activate to activate my virtual environment. And you can notice the virtual environment is activated when you can see the name of the virtual environment in parentheses at the beginning of the line. So now let's go ahead and install the libraries that we need. So I'm just going to go ahead and go to here. Let's go to Google and search for LangChain, and then go ahead and click on this first link. That takes you to official documentation of LangChain. Go ahead and click on install, and then simply copy this to install LangChain. So I'm just going to go and copy that, paste it here to install LangChain. So make sure your environment is activated before installing this, because you want to install it inside of that environment. Okay, you're also going to be using Streamlit. Okay, so Streamlit is going to be used for building the UI. So go to streamlit.io on Google or any browser that you use, and just click on docs. And once you click on docs, go ahead and click on getting started. Scroll all the way down, go to click on next, which is installation, and then they give you the command to install Streamlit, which is pip install Streamlit. So copy that command, and you're going to go ahead and install this command right after this. So let's give it a bit of time for to complete the installation of LangChain. And once that's done, we can go ahead and simply paste clear the terminal and paste this command to install Streamlit as well. So that's going to go ahead and install Streamlit. Okay, so once this is done, we also need to install one more library, and this library is going to be called python.env. So let me just go ahead and install it right here. Okay, we need to install other two more libraries. The first one is OpenAI, and also we need to install Python decouple, right? So let's wait for this to done. So get done. I'm just going to click this and say pip3 install. I'm going to say OpenAI. So we need to install the OpenAI Python library. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and install that. Click the terminal. I'm going to say pip3 install. I'm going to install Python decouple. Okay, that's going to help us to read the environment variables from our env file that you're going to create just in a second. So once you have all that installed, I'm going to go ahead and open up my VS Code. Okay, now that you have all those libraries installed and I have my VS Code open, now let's go ahead and begin to code. So I'm going to go ahead and inside of here, I'm going to go ahead and create a file. I'm going to call this file app.py. Okay, and that's which you're going to write in our let me just rename that. So app.py, and this is going to be for it to rename a Python file. So this is going to be app.py, just like that. And I'm also going to go ahead and create another one, which is going to be called .env file, env, and then press enter. And in here you're going to go ahead and say OpenAI API underscore key, and then in here you're going to go ahead and get in your open API key and then use it in here. So how do you get your open API key? You can just go online, open a new browser, just for search for basically OpenAI, and there's openai.com, and then from here just click on the okay, this bring us straight to a page, and then finally you can go ahead and register an account, and then from there you can get your API key. I'm not going to go ahead and show you this because this website can change in the future, but just go ahead and navigate. It's actually very easy to navigate, and then create your open API key. So once you get your open API key, you're going to use it right here. So it's going to be something like SK and then finally some gibberish, right? So basically you're going to use keep your API key in here. Okay, so let me just keep my API key in here and I'll be back recording. So good, I have my API key in there. So now let's go ahead and begin to build our project. So let's go ahead and import all the dependencies that we need. So first I'm going to go ahead and import Streamlit. So I'm going to say import Streamlit as st. Okay, so st. You're going to go ahead and finally begin to create our app. The first thing you're going to go ahead and do is have the page settings. So I'm going to say st.set underscore page underscore configs, right? You're going to go ahead and pass in a couple of configs. The first one I'm going to say is page underscore title, and the page title can just be, I'm going to say ChatGPT clone, so chat GPT clone. Okay, that's going to be the title of the tab on which this application is going to run on in the browser. You're going to say page icon, and you can go ahead and use an icon right here. So I can just go ahead and get an icon. So I have this website called basically this website is called emojipedia.com.org, and then search for robot in here. So robot, and then press that, and then it's gonna give you a robot emoji. So I want this emoji right here. I'm gonna click on it, and then once it opens up, I'm just going to go ahead and copy this and then go ahead and paste it in here. So I'm going to have, so this is going to be the icon of the tab on which our Streamlit application is going to be running on. You can also go ahead and specify the layout. So layout, and you're going to say layout is going to be wide. Okay, so wide. Okay, so once you have that done, I'm also going to go ahead and set the page title. So I'm going to say streamlit.title. So streamlit.title. The title I'm going to say chat GPT clone. Okay, so that's basically it. So that's all I need to have to run this to have this app running. So this is going to be all on the tabs, and this is going to be inside of the page itself. So I can just go ahead and run this and show you. So I'm going to change that into my chat GPT clone folder, and once I'm in there, you can see I have only one folder called app.py. So I'm going to go ahead and run it. I'm going to Streamlit and then run app.py and then press enter. So this is going to go ahead and open it in our browser. I already have one here, so I'll just use the one that I already have previously. So I'm just going to go ahead and refresh this. Okay, so once that's refreshed, you can now see we have everything. So you can see these are the title configs that we set up, and then this is the title of the page. Right, good. So once we have that done, I'm just going to go ahead and move on to the next part of this application. In this part, you're going to go ahead and finally create a session. You're going to store the user messages. So what you're going to do, you're going to check if messages not in st.session state, right, dot keys. So you're going to get session state.keys. You're going to check if you have the variable messages in there. If you don't have the variable message, you're going to go ahead and create the messages. Going to the session state dot messages is going to be equals to details messages. Okay, it's going to be equals to, and it's going to be a list of dictionaries. So we're going to have made the different messages. So each message is going to have a role, and the role is going to be, let's say this role is going to be either assistant or user. So I'm going to go ahead and say assistant, and I'm going to have also content, another key. So content, and its value is going to be basically hello there. Ask anything, anything you wish, just like that, and then dot. Okay, that's it. So that's basically this creating the session. We're going to check in the session, the application session, if you have a key called messages. If you don't have a key called messages, you're going to go ahead and attach that key, which is going to be a list of dictionaries. You're going to store in there the first message going to be from the assistant, basically the AI bot, and it's going to just simply say hello, ask anything. So then we have that session value created inside of our session. Now let's go ahead and display the messages on the screen. Basically, this session messages onto the screen. So I'm going to go ahead and say for message in st.session state.messages. Right, I'm going to go ahead and get each message. I'm going to say with st dot, I'm going to use this context manager with st dot underscore chat message, and you're going to go ahead and say the chat message is going to be of the user, of the role of the user. So depending on the role of the user. So in this case, we have only one message. one message and its role is assistant. So it will be chat message and then passing in assistant. And you can read more about this on the feature documentation. Okay, so I'm going to say st dot write. I'm going to say st dot write, and I'm going to go ahead and write in the message content, right? So content, just like that. So the content is what we have right here. So I'm just writing it in. So I'm going to go ahead and save that, and let me check if my application is running. Yeah, it is running. So I'm going to go back in here and just click on run always to always refresh. So you can see I have the first message right there, which is saying hello there, ask anything you wish. That's it. So good. So once we have that done, that works perfectly. Now let's go ahead and get the user's input. So we're going to create an input key, which is going to be right here, and which is I can enter in their prompts. So I'm going to go ahead and do that right here. So I'm going to go ahead and say, user underscore prompt is going to be equals to st.chat underscore input, just like that. Get the chat input. I'm going to check if the user typing something. So if user underscore prompt, right? If user prompt is not none, means the user typing something. Then what we're going to do, we're going to say st.session session underscore state dot messages dot append, because that's a list right here. This is a list right here. You're going to go ahead and append the phone into it. You're going to append in a dictionary. And this is going to have role again, so I can just go ahead and copy this right here just to save it on time. So I'm going to copy that and paste it right here. Okay, so now the content is going to go only, the only thing that's going to go ahead and change. So the content is going to be the user underscore prompt. Right? So basically going to display what the user typed in. That's all we're going to do. So good. So once we have that there, I'm going to go ahead and say with st dot chat chat messages, and you're going to go ahead and say the role is going to be equal to now the user. Now, okay, and then finally we're going to go ahead and say st dot write, and you're going to write the user prompt onto the screen. So user prompt onto the screen. So that's basically what I want to do. So now let's go ahead and test it out and make sure it works. So just go ahead and make sure our application is running. It is running. Go back in here. Let me type in something. It's going to say hello there. Press enter. Now it displays. Good. So we have that working fine. So now let's go ahead and now take the user prompt and pass it into our LLM model, which is going to be our GPT-3 model, to get back a response. So we need to go ahead and create a model right here. So I'm going to go ahead and say and import a couple of things. So I'm going to say from LangChain dot chat underscore models, I'm going to import chat OpenAI. Okay, that's all I need to do. So I'm going to go ahead and use it right here. I'm going to say basically I'm going to say LLM is going to be equals to chat OpenAI, and I also need to pass in the OpenAI API key right in here for this to work. So I need to go ahead and import decouple. So I'm going to say import. I'm going to say from decouple, I'm going to import config, just like that. So I'm going to go in here and simply say config, and then finally pass in now what we have inside of our key. So it's going to be OpenAI underscore API underscore key, just like that. So OpenAI underscore API underscore key, which is what we have instead of our environment variable. I can show you because it has my API key right now. So it's basically this is what we pass in here to create the LLM. So once you have the LLM created, I'm going to go ahead and also create a memory. Okay, memory help out the chatbot to remember the flow of conversation. So I'm going to say from LangChain.memory, I'm going to import this is going to be conversational buffer window memory. So I'm going to go ahead and say memory equals to conversation buffer memory, and I'm going to pass in my memory key. So I'm going to say memory key, and it's going to be called chat underscore history. So I'll show you why I call the chat history in a moment, and I'm going to say k equals to be 5. So k is an integer that remembers the last how many of the last previous conversations should the chatbot remember, and you want it to only remember 5 of the previous messages, because I can be costly whenever I remember a lot of messages, because you have to send all this whenever I'm making a prompt, and that can be extra cost. Okay, so I'm going to say LLM chain extra cost whenever on your API key, right? So I'm going to go ahead and import a couple of things more. So I'm going to say from LangChain dot this is going to be chains. I'm going to import the LLM chain, just like that, and I'm going to go here and say LLM chain, and I'm going to go ahead and pass in a couple of things. I'm going to say LLM, and it's going to be equals to LLM that we have. I'm going to pass in memory. It's also equals to memory that we created. So memory. Now we need to pass in a prompt. So let's go ahead and create a prompt up here. So I'm going to go ahead and import a couple of things. I'm going to say from langchain.prompts, I'm going to go ahead and import prompt template right here. So import prompt template. I'm going to go ahead and say prompt is going to be equals to a prompt template, and you pass in a couple of things. So we say input values, variables, and I'm going to, this is going to be a list of variables. So the first I'm going to say is chat underscore history. So you can see chat history is what I have right here. So this is going to be the placeholder for the memory. So I'm going to pass in there. Okay, make sure it's the same spelling, the things that you have here, the same variable names. And then I'm also going to take in question, which will be the users, what the user typed in into our UI. And then finally I'm going to say template, and the template is going to be a string, just like that. So yeah, so I'm going to go in here and say, tell basically the AI what to do. So you, a kind AI agent, you, okay, let me get rid of this. You are currently talking to a human. Okay, human. So you are an AI agent, you're currently talking to a human or having a conversation with a human, whatever wording you want to use. Answer him or her in a friendly tone, and also have have some sense of humor, just like that. So basically it does it, and I'm going to go ahead and say human, human, and this is going to be the human question, right? So question, which is what we are passing in as the input variable, one of the input variables. You're going to go ahead and say basically, that's all you're going to say basically, and you're going to go ahead and pass in the chat history. So let me pass in the chat history as well. So I'm going to say chat underscore history, and the chat history is going to be a list of the chat history, which is going to be this memory type we have right there. So copy that and simply paste it in there, and I'm going to go ahead and have AI. It's going to be the response of the AI model. So that's all I need to do to have the prompt template. So I'm going to go ahead and use that right here. So I'm going to say prompt equals to prompt right there. So good. So that's all I need to have to create the LLM. So now that once that I have this, I can simply go down here and simply begin to use it. So I can begin to use our model. So once you have the user's input, you're going to go ahead and say if st.session session state.messages, you're going to get the last dot messages. You're going to get the very last one, and you're going to use -1 to get the very last one. And we're going to check if its role is gonna be equals to assistant, right? So you're checking basically if the last chat was from the was from the bot or the AI bot, then we need to respond. We need to make a response basically. So we're going to say with st dot chat message, right? Chat message right here, and you're going to go ahead and say message. When you say assistant, and you're going to go ahead and just go ahead and say with st dot spinner. You're going to have a spinner, and this spinner is just going to say loading dot dot dot, and you're going to go ahead and say the following. So we're going to say AI underscore response. We're getting the response from the AI model, and this response is going to come from LLMChain, which we just created, LLMChain dot predict, and you're going to go ahead and predict whatever the user passes. So say question, and question is going to be equals to the user underscore prompt right there. So the user prompt prompt, okay, prompt, just like that. So that's basically it. And once I have that, I'm going to say st.write, and I'm going to go ahead and write the AI response, AI underscore response right there. So once I have that done, I'm just going to go ahead and do the following. So I'm going to say new underscore AI underscore message is going to be equals to, now we're going to go ahead and create a dictionary, which is going to be very similar to this one right here. So I'm going to go ahead and copy this and replace this right here. And now this is going to be equals to the AI underscore response. So response. And I need to do one thing. So this is going to be, the role is going to be user. Well, because it's going to be storing the user prompt, my bad. So the role is going to be user. And if I now you're going to say the role, now this is going to be the AI new message. And say a role of assistant, and then content is what the AI said, right? And then finally, I'm going to go ahead and say store it in our session. So session session state dot messages dot append. So dot append, and you're going to go append the role, sorry, the a new underscore AI message in there into our new session state to store that in memory. So that's all we need to do. So once we have this running, I can just go back in here and let me try to refresh this. Let's see if it loads. Yeah, it loads. So I'm going to go in. Okay, I have an error here. It says that okay, it says tutorial Streamlit spinner. I think I have an issue with my spinner. So let me just get this right. So spinner with st.spinner and then passing in loading. Okay, AI is response gonna be the ALM model.predict, you're passing in question. Okay, which is this input that you're taking in here, and then you're going to say the question is going to be the user prompt, and you're saying st.write, and you're writing the AI response. You're creating the new AI message. Okay, and you're simply storing it. So I'm going to say session and then store it in our session. Yeah, that's all we need to do. So basically, okay, you're going to say is not equals to assistant. Okay, so maybe that's maybe the cause of the error. So let's say always run. Okay, so now it's run. So I'm going to say hello there. Now you can see got back a response from now the OpenAI model. So I'm going to say tell me more about Hollywood. Run that and let's see what it responds to it. So basically asking to tell us more about Hollywood. So you can take this prompt and then talk to the OpenAI GPT-3 model and then get back for us the answer. Basically a clone of ChatGPT, right? So say, hey there, Hollywood is a famous hub for internet entertainment industry located in Los Angeles and California and all that information. So you can see it or basically can ask it any question as long as you do not violate the OpenAI policies. So that's guys, that's all and how to build a simple ChatGPT clone using Streamlit in and Streamlit, LangChain, OpenAI, and yeah, that's basically it. So if you guys have any questions, I'm glad to help. And again, if you're new to the channel, please kindly consider subscribing, liking this video, and sharing this content with anyone who you think might find it helpful. Thanks for watching, and see you in the next one. Keep safe.